Hi, I'm Alistair from Lazarus Training, and in this video we're going to talk to you about some safety tools that you may wish to take with you when you're travelling. So when we run our training courses, we're often preparing people to travel to remote, hostile or potentially difficult areas. And in fact, sometimes the training requires us to travel there. So we spend a lot of our time looking at risks, and the main risk to most of us is road traffic collisions. Filming this video today, I'm stood in the United Kingdom, and the World Health Organization gives figures for all the countries in the world. And for us, at the moment, for every 100,000 people there are in the United Kingdom, the World Health Organization suggests somewhere in the region of 3 of them will die each year in a road traffic collision. Now that's a terrible figure in itself, but when we travel to other places, like we've been in Ukraine quite a lot recently, the figure there is 13.5 per 100,000 people. And when we travel further afield, we're looking to go to Jamaica with our training later this year, the figure is again about 13.5 people per 100,000 die in road traffic collisions. So when we're looking at safety of people, road traffic accidents, road traffic collisions is one of the big things, and we often find ourselves talking about ways to avoid the problem, servicing the vehicles, careful selection of routes, looking after your driver, etc. But people often focus in on fine details such as safety equipment. And one item we find ourselves talking about a lot are these, generically called a rescue hammer, and you see them around, you might see them on the buses, you might see them on the tube, easily purchased, you can buy them online, and the basic idea is you have it in your vehicle. They often come with a mount, they're normally a bright colour so you can spot it quite easily, and the model I've got here has even got a little reflective area, but the key feature is the hammer end of it, and you can see there that the hammer is of a very, very fine point. And this is probably the key bit of information to take away, that a fine point breaks a window much easier. Now, we've got some footage here of these hammers being used, and you can see with very, very little effort, the window breaks with just a light tap of this specially designed hammer. One thing to note, watch out for the glass. Whatever we're using to break the window, the glass tends to fragment down to tiny, tiny bits, and that's bad for us. But these hammers, designed to break a window, in theory for us to escape from a vehicle that we're in that maybe is overturned, but we could easily use it as a rescue tool to gain access, perhaps if the doors won't open. Other features we might find on the rescue hammer are quite commonly at the other end there is a concealed blade. This is designed to cut through stuff, and it's quite tough, quite easy to use. Here I've got some seat belt we've taken from a wrecked vehicle, and we can see that it's cutting the belt quite easily. It would also cut clothes, but clearly I'm not going to demonstrate that for you now. And some models that we've seen with these have even got a light built into them as well. A great thing to have when you're dealing with a casualty or an emergency situation is light. We recommend hedge torches. Perhaps we'll do a different product review of those as well. So that's the rescue hammer, fairly cheap. Here in the UK you can pick these up for about £9–10, but as I said, you can get them online, and we'll put some links into the bit underneath the video for you to track those down online. If you think that's a little bit larger, a bit bulkier than what you want to have with you, a very popular tool that people have whilst they're travelling are these. Now there is a brand name called Rescue Me, and as with anything good, you then get copies, people inspired by, etc., which again you can get online. You can see very similar design, very similar features. This works for a centre punch idea. Now, as you can see in the video here of one actually in use, we place it against the window and push hard, and then a spring-loaded like nail thing comes out and breaks the window. Again, we've got to be careful for our own safety, for the glass that goes everywhere, but it's a much smaller device, and in fact, as we can see on this one, there's even a little space for you to put it onto a key ring or something to carry it with you. On a training deployment tail end of 2018, I accidentally had one of these in my hand baggage and made it all the way through from the UK to another international airport without being picked up. So I think it's probably better to pack it in your actual hold baggage, but it shows that maybe it's not a problem. There's a blade tucked away inside here. Again, the idea is that we can use this for cutting the seat belts. You can see that cuts it quite nicely, but it could also be used for cutting clothing off a casualty if we need to assess them for injuries. Now, these are just a couple of the items there's many different versions of them, but we suspect, or we recommend, this is something you might want to have with you if you're travelling to those difficult environments I mentioned earlier. So Rescue Hammer, Rescue Me, something we would recommend for you travelling into difficult remote areas, particularly if you have to be self-sufficient, and with that high risk of road traffic collisions, it is something we would recommend to you. So this is just one product review in what we hope to be a series, so do all that kind of stuff of subscribe, hopefully you've liked this video as well, and perhaps do the notification thing so you don't miss the next series of videos coming out. If you like any of the products that we've been talking to you about there'll be links down below to show you some of the online retailers from which you can get them.